When it's Monday, you know that it's definitely time for motivation. We've got one of Nigeria's leading business and leadership coaches, Tess Aromesule. Now, she's someone who's passionate about changing the narrative by helping companies and individuals enter new markets and build new networks. Now, we're talking this morning about leveraging on opportunities. It's great to have you, Tess. Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So there's this saying that opportunity knocks, opportunity comes but once, that when you miss it, you've missed out. But today we're talking about leveraging on opportunities. First of all, do you think that when you miss an opportunity, do we have second chances at some kind of opportunities?
Yes, it's true that opportunity come knocking once, but then there are several times that you can still, even if you didn't get it the first time, you still have opportunities or several chances again, but it just might not be in the same magnitude. So it's always better, like they say, that opportunity meets the prepared mind. So if there's something you're looking out for out there, that you are prepared and ready, kind of like, so that when it presents itself, the chance presents itself, opportunity and time meets, and then boom, the magic happens.
I love that, when it aligns. Let's start with that preparation. How do you prepare for opportunities?
They say, especially I even like to extend that question a little bit by saying, how do you prepare for opportunities, especially in crisis? Because that may be the question in a lot of people's minds this morning, at least in this season that we are in, with the pandemic and all of that. So how do you prepare your mind? Or how do you prepare yourself? Everything starts with the mind. And like I say, I'm not the author of this quote I'm about to say, but I don't know who the author is, that when the mind is blind, the eyes are useless. So even if you are seeing opportunities and you're just walking and seeing things around, but if your mind cannot recognize what you're seeing, then the eyes are useless. So in trying to leverage opportunities, you have to know that it starts with the mind. Where there's a will, there's a way. But where there is a will and then the mind cannot cultivate a way, then that way is useless. That will is useless. So in trying to leverage opportunities, especially in crisis, your mind first has to be open to see that in this crisis or in this situation, there is a seed in it. The seed for the opportunity is in the crisis. So that's what I'll say to that.
A lot of people always say that it starts with the mind. What are the characteristics of a closed mind, and what does it mean to have an open mind or a mind that is ready for opportunities?
A mind that is ready for opportunities would have listened to us last week when we talked about emotional resilience. And it's a mind that is adaptable. A mind that looks at a situation and be like, oh my God, so this is where we find ourselves now. Okay, it is not exactly how I planned it to be, but how do we go about adapting it to meet the current situation? A closed mind will be like, oh my goodness, my life has just ended. My projection for this year was XYZ, and look at where I am. I'm doomed, I'm dead. It starts to be more despondent than even trying to look upwards and to see outside that. And we see a lot of companies who took opportunities of that. When, during this pandemic, some people who were clothiers, who were into fashion brands, now started creating things like household items, started creating things like essential items, like sanitizers, nose masks. And so innovation is very key in you moving from that despondent, or should I say that crestfallen or that sad and sorry state to now seeing the opportunity that lies in that crisis and for you to make the most of it, because it starts in the mind. If you don't recognize it in the mind, own the situation and try to sit back and figure a way out, then you're just winking in the dark. No one is really seeing you.
Wonderful. Now, there are times when opportunities come big. Like when they come, you can recognize them. But there are other times when the opportunities that have just been lying, that you might not have, you might not be cognizant of. They're just there. They don't knock. They've just been lying there and all of that. And it will take some people maybe some kind of insight to see those kind of opportunities. What would you say to people who maybe opportunities might have just been there, but they've not been able to see this sort of opportunities? Not the type, we're talking about the type that doesn't have that big knock on your door and says, hey, I'm here. You know, the other type, the ones that are hidden and all of that.
The types that are hidden, opportunities, big, small, takes the same mindset. Everything, this mind of ours that we have, is so is so vast that you can become, or de-become, excuse my English, all starting from the mind. If your mind is not right, you have to take care of this mind. If that mind is not right, even if the opportunity is massive and is looking you in the face, you will never see it. So if you can't see a big one, how can you see a smaller one? But again, if you are, I don't even want to use the word prepared. If your mind still stays, even if it's just a little bit, on the positive side, no matter how minute the opportunity is, at least you see some gray or silver lining.
Silver lining,
that,
yeah.
Okay, so it's not all doom, it's not all bad. Maybe in all of this, I can just harness or take this out. So everything, I would say this morning, goes back to the mind and how important that mind is. And a lot of times when we're going through our day, things come, positive, negative. Your job is to flush out what doesn't belong in the kind of mind that you are trying to build. If it doesn't belong there, flush it out. If it's not flushing out, file it away. If it's not being filed, ignore it. It will come nagging. But the thing is, at the end of the day, this thing called your mind is where everything happens. If you win in the mind, you win outward. If you lose in the mind, you will definitely, woefully lose outward as well.
All right, so now, talking about times in crisis now, are you saying that it is absolute that in every crisis, there is a seed of opportunity? Is that fact?
Oh, yes, it's a fact. And we have seen it play out, even in our own economy. How come a bottling company, I don't want to mention their name, a bottling company is now a giant in manufacturing hand sanitizers. They've converted all their billboards around Lagos to advertising their hand sanitizer. If you're frequent, if you are conversant with Lagos, you will know who I'm talking about. And so when you look at that, you see that there was a crisis. And when some of us were crying, oh my God, what am I going to do? They already saw it. A popular clothier, again, turned her clothing. I bet she had bought bales of materials to sew children's clothing. But I mean, life happened. There was a crisis. In that crisis was an opportunity. She decided to make nose masks with the materials that she had bought. So in every crisis, there's seed of opportunities there. In every crisis, people's needs still continue, people's wants still continue, people's desires still continue. As long as there is life, there is opportunity there. But it takes some form of innovation when you're in crisis for you to begin to leverage the opportunities that are in it. It took innovation for this bottling company to do what they did. It took innovation for the clothier to do what she did, even in crisis. So yes, it's a fact now that in every crisis, there is the seed of opportunity.
Thank you so much, Tess. That was a home run.
Thank you for having me.
That was a home run. You ended it on a high. Thank you so much. Looking forward to what you have to discuss next week.